Good morning, second grade. Today we are going to be combining what we've been learning for the past 2 days, regrouping in the tens and regrouping in the hundreds, and doing them both together. So let's start off with two different examples over here. So we have 481 minus 244. So what we're going to do first is look at that ones place and see if we have enough on top. We do not, so what do we have to do? We got to go next door, borrow 10 more, and then we are able to subtract. So what's 11 minus 4? Gives us 6. 7 minus 4 gives us 3. And 4 minus 2 gives us 2, making the difference 236. So here we regrouped in the tens. Now let's check out this problem over here. So we have 319 minus 137. So what we're going to do first is look at that ones place. And if we have enough to subtract, we are going to do so. So we have 9 minus 7 gives us 2. Then we go next door to the tens place. We have 1 minus 3. But we can't do that. So we call up the hundreds. We borrow 10 tens. This 1 then becomes an 11. And then we can subtract. 11 minus 3 gives us 7, and 2 minus 1 gives us 1, making the difference 172. So here, we regrouped in the hundreds. So, we are going to combine both of the things that we've learned over the past 2 days into one math problem, because sometimes you're going to only have to regroup in the tens, and sometimes you're going to have to regroup only in the hundreds, but sometimes you're going to have to regroup in both. So let's try that out. We have 524 minus 265. So we're going to use our handy-dandy hundreds, tens, and ones chart and draw this in. So we know that we have, I want you to think about 524, how many ones, tens, and hundreds are in that number. I know that there are 4 ones in this number, so I'm going to go ahead and draw that. I know that there are 2 tens in this number, so I'm going to go ahead and draw that. And I know that there are 5 hundreds. So, next what I'm going to do is look at this bottom number and see if I have enough in our chart to start subtracting. So let's first look in the ones place. We have 4 ones, but we need to take away 5, so we don't have to have enough. So what we have to do is call up the tens, say, hey tens, can we borrow 10 ones? And he's going to say yes, so we're going to bring those over to the ones place. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now we have, instead of having 4 ones, we borrowed 10 from next door, so we have 14. So let's show that over here in our problem. So we didn't have enough to take 4 away from 5, so we borrowed 10 from next door. We then, the 4 ones became 14 ones, and we were able to subtract. So we can go back over to our chart and cross out 5 ones. And that leaves us with 9 ones. So these are our remaining 9 ones. Next we're going to go do is look in the tens place. So we only have 1 10, and we need to take away 6. But we can't do that. So what we have to do now is go next door to our friend the hundreds and ask to borrow 10 tens. So this is where it gets different. Now we have 10 tens. So let's go ahead and draw those in. 1, 2, 3. So now we borrowed 10 tens from next door, so that's not over there anymore. And now we're able to show that over here in our problem. So we couldn't take 1 away from 6, so we went next door. We borrowed 10 tens. This then becomes an 11. Oops. This then becomes an 11, because if I had 1 10 and I added 10 tens to that, I have 11 tens. So then we take 11 minus 6, and we get 4. Oh, I'm sorry, that's 5. And then we go over here and we can cross those out. So we have 11, we take away 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that leaves us with our remaining 4 up here and 1 up here. So Then we are going to go to our hundreds place, and we are going to take 2. We have 4 hundreds and we want to take away 2. We have just enough. So we are going to take away 2, leaving us with 200s. So the difference is 254. So second grade, we could see that we regrouped both in the ones and the tens in this problem, and it was needed to solve this problem. Let's move on to a new one. So this one we have 749 minus 136. So what I'm going to do is look at that top number first and draw it into our chart over here. So we're going to look at the ones place. We have 9 ones. We have 4 tens. And we have 7 hundreds. Now we're going to look at that bottom number and see if we can take away. So I'm going to look in the ones place first. I have 9 ones and I want to take away 6. Can I do that, second grade? I can. So we're going to take away 6, leaving us with 3. Now we have 4 tens and we want to take away 3. 1, 2, 3 gives us 1. And 7 minus 1 gives us 6. So the reason I put this in here is because sometimes you're not going to have to regroup in either the ones or the tens. So as mathematicians, we have to understand that sometimes we're just going to regroup in the tens, sometimes we're going to regroup in the hundreds, and sometimes we're not going to regroup at all. So I just wanted to show you that because on today's math work, I don't want you to be robots. Sometimes you don't have to regroup. So let's move on to another example and see if we have to regroup here. So we're going to look at this top number, 725 minus 349. So let's go ahead and think about which number is in the ones place. The 5 is in the ones place, so let's go ahead and draw that over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then let's look at the tens place. We have 2 tens, 1, 2, and we have 7 hundreds. All right. So now what we're going to do is look at that bottom number and see if we have enough in each place value to take away. So let's look over here in the ones place first. We have 5 ones and we want to take away 9. We know that we can't take away 9 if we only have 5, so we have to go to the tens next door and borrow 10 ones. And then let's make sure we show that over here in our work. So we couldn't take 5 away from 9, so we had to borrow from the tens. That becomes 15, because now we have 15 ones over here rather than 9. We're going to take away 9. Leaving us with 6 ones. And then we have 1 10 and we want to take away 4. So look over here in the tens place. We only have 1 10 left and we want to take away 4. We can't do that, so what we're going to do is call up the hundreds and ask to borrow 10 tens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to move those on over, and then we are able to subtract. But wait, we have to make sure we show that over here in our problem. So we couldn't take 1 away from 4, so we had to call next door. This becomes 6. This becomes 11. So let's make sure we have 11 tens over here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 11 tens over here. And then we want to take away 4, so let's cross those out. 1, 2, 3, 4, leaving us with 7 tens. And then we have 6 hundreds left over, and we want to just take away 3. 1, 2, 3, leaving us with 3. So in this one, we had to regroup in both the ones and the tens. You're always going to start in the ones place, always start in the ones place, and then move on over to the tens, and then move on over to the hundreds. Let's try this one last problem together before we start our own work. So this one, we're not going to draw the chart. We're just going to do subtraction without the chart. So our first step is to look in that ones place and see if we can subtract. If we have 1, we cannot give you 9. That's another way of saying if I have 1 cupcake and I wanted to give one of you 9 of them, I could not do that. So I have to call up our friends, the tens, and say, hey, 10, can we borrow some? And he's going to say, yep. And then we are going to be able to make this in 11 now. So we have 11 ones rather than 1. 11 minus 9 gives us 2. And then we want to take 2 minus 4. If I have 2, can I give you 4? Nope. So what do we have to do? We also have to regroup in the hundreds this time. So we're going to go over to the hundreds. We're going to take 100, exchange them for the tens. So we have 12 tens now. And we want to take that 12 minus 4 gives us 8. And 2 minus 1 gives us 1. So if we wanted to make sure that this is right, we can go and draw a chart afterwards. Let's do this over here nice and quick. A little small, but that's all right. So we had 1 in the ones place. We had 3 tens, and we had 3 hundreds. So what do we do second grade? We start in the ones place. We see if we have enough. We don't have enough to take away 9, so we borrow from the 10. We bring them on over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we could take away. So if we took 9 out of the ones place, we could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, leaving us with 2. I agree there. And then we move over to the tens place. Now we had 2 tens and we wanted to take away 4, and we couldn't do that. So what we did was we went next door. We borrowed 10 tens from the 100. And we took away 4. So then we go 1, 2, 3, 4. And that leaves us with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tens. I agree there. And then we had 200 and we take away 1. I agree there. So this is just a way that we could check our work after we complete it if we are a little unsure. So, second graders, today what I want you to do is open up to page 440 in your math books. This goes on to page 441 as well. You're going to complete numbers 1 through 16. I am going to attach a video that will help you solve number 16. This is a challenge, so you don't have to do it, but if you want to, I encourage you to, and that is all for today. Thank you so much.